What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of 11 Marriage Huntsville. This is season 6, episode 23. I have no idea how many more episodes we have, but 23 is a very high number, Carlos. Nonetheless, this episode is titled Hold Her Accountable, and let's get right into it. Alright, so Melody is suggesting to Kiki, baby girl, just go ahead and take this drug test, prove them wrong, and we can move on. Now, Kiki's like, I'll do it if Marceau takes a lie detector test. First of all, I am pretty sure Marceau will figure out a way to pass the lie detector test, even though he out here lying. Number two, we already know that he won't do it. He's not going to be for real and take a lie detector test. So, she actually agrees that she'll take the test. She goes to the restroom at the storage unit place, and Mel reads the results. Kiki is clean, okay? She tested her for multiple things, and the test came back that Kiki is not on them drugs. So Melody was like, hey, why y'all moving anyways? And Amin, as well as Kiki, are like, oh, we're moving because of our son. You know, he's an athlete. We want to make sure that he has the best opportunity to get a scholarship. So Melody was like, oh, yeah, Tiffany mentioned that to me. Keep in mind, Kiki ain't told Tiffany nothing because they not friends like that. So she trying to figure out why is Tiffany talking about her. And here's the cold part about Tiffany. Tiffany is basically questioning how are they planning on moving their child to a different school that's in a different district. Because she thought that they were about to be shady and pretend like they lived in the area when they didn't. I guess she assumed that Kiki was going to, lie and say she lived in a certain area. Either way, Kiki's like, no, we are not those type of people. If we gonna do it, we gonna do it right. Like, because please know, I definitely know that is a thing for sure of people using other people's addresses for their kids to go to a better school, all of that. But with Kiki being on TV, you don't think the city of Huntsville will be calling her child out? Like, how you think you gonna go here when you don't live over here? Please know, it will be known around the city, and that little boy will be kicked out of school. He would have to go back to his home school. Nonetheless, Tiffany is out here being messy as hell, and she is clearly gunning for Kiki. So next thing you know, we see Tisha and Marcel. They are getting ready for a trip with the kids, and Marcel is like, yeah, we can't stay for 5 days because we have a bunch of different materials coming in for all the things they're supposed to be building out here. And I'm just like, well, sir, the trip is booked. So you can go home. You can take your ass home on day 3. But if I was Tisha, I would have been like, yeah, me and the kids were staying for all 5 days. You go figure it out. So Marceau actually finds it commendable the way Tisha handled herself at the barbecue or whatever. And he says that, I could have done better. And I'm like, yeah, you could have done better because the way you was making it seem like Kiki was a certified crackhead, baby, you was doing a lot. Nonetheless, Tisha, she feels like all of this, all that happened at the barbecue, confirms for her that she is done with her cousin. I said, all right, fine, Tisha, if that's how you feel. Now, Marcel, on the other hand, he feels like him and Stormy, they kind of came to an agreement about the whole calling him out his name thing. He feels like what really brought them together was the fact that they talked about the drug stuff and how her best friend had a problem. And I'm just like, but sir, let's not forget that you were like drilling into Kiki trying to have her answer all these damn questions. And you was doing too much. So one thing that annoys me, y'all, is that this whole thing that is happening with these two talking about Kiki is that they say it like it's fact. Like they know she's on drugs. They have seen her do the drugs. Like that's how they act. And I'm just like, I wonder how they gonna feel once, this episode airs. Because Kiki just came off clean and y'all still saying that she's a drug addict. Interesting. So, what's his name? Marcel. He ends up telling his wife that she can be more accountable because at the town hall meeting, she was getting like super defensive about the event being called unorganized. And I'm like, no. she was getting defensive because Melody said that the event was unorganized. If Kimmy would have said it, if Stormy would have said it, if anybody else would have said it, she would have been fine. So again, she out here trying to get defensive about what it was. And Letitia, girl, you just making excuses, okay? Just say you did not want to hear that information from Melody. It's fine. You don't like her. It's okay. But let's go ahead and move on. Speaking of Melody, she is actually planning a name change ceremony because she is no longer a Holt. She is going back to Rogers. And her mom ends up coming over and she's there with her party planner. And they're just going over, all these ideas that they have for the party. She's like, I only want about 25 people. I'm going to make sure that I have security there. And I said, you know what? That's right, Melody. You make sure you have security. So that way, people don't just pop up because they feel like it. The same way Martell popped up at your child's birthday party. And also, this way, Kiki won't turn your party into Splash Mountain. Okay? Nobody else needs to get splashed by Kiki. Nonetheless, Mel, she tells her mom that she hasn't even read the letter that came in the mail that says if her name can change or not. So she goes to get the letter, she reads it aloud or whatever, and yes, she is granted the name change. And she was very happy about it. Her mom even cried about it because this was like the final stage of I am officially done being connected to Martell as far as the marriage goes. I'm no longer carrying his name. We're done. Like, it's bad enough they gotta share kids, okay? The kids were a blessing, but other than that, we are done with Martell. Now, we move on over to Stormy. She goes to see Kiki, and she asks Kiki, like, girl, why are y'all moving? Baby, everybody want to know why they moving. So, of course, Kiki goes into the fact that her son is about to be a senior, and they feel like it's best for them to move and possibly get him in a better position to get a scholarship. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to be completely honest. I believe Kiki when it comes to this whole situation with her and her child moving, because that is a real thing. I know for a fact that there are certain times when you may send your child to one school and no colleges even recognize them over there. But then if you put them in another area where they're able to get more playing time, this is a school that scouts come to, there's more opportunity that comes by way of that school, there is a better chance for your child to, get a scholarship. And I think it's actually pretty commendable that Kiki and her husband are willing to move. The only thing that suffers in that situation is the fact that you have two other kids, and how do they really feel about this whole transition and you guys moving? Because they had their friends and their activities that they were doing as well. So, of course, they talk about the barbecue, and Kiki, she does apologize for putting Stormy in the middle of the foolishness, but she had to say that, listen, when Tisha ignored me, I definitely felt some type of way. Tisha knows that that's one of my triggers, and then she ends up showing she ends up showing Stormy what Tisha did. She's like, listen, pretend that you are just standing there or whatever, and I'm trying to say hi to you, or you're trying to say hi to me, and I just get that close to you, and I just walk the other way. I'm sorry, but y'all over here caping for Tisha, talking about that was not warranted what Kiki did and all of this. I'm sorry, but there's no way that you can tell me that if you go to give somebody a hug and they literally get that close to you and dodge your ass, you will not feel some type of way. You absolutely would. So I completely understand why Kiki felt the way that she did with Tisha. Because Tisha thought that she was going to have the upper hand. I'm just going to ignore you and dodge you out. Like I said, it was not going to kill old girl to just say hello. It really wasn't. But nonetheless, Kiki felt like the whole thing was pre-planned by Letitia and her wife. I can't lie. I did laugh when she called him her wife. Next thing you know, she over imitating how, Marceau was probably acting, saying, yeah, you gonna do this, you gonna do that, because we gonna ignore her and all of this. But here's the thing. Kiki said that she wasn't even prepared to have that whole situation with Tisha. And I believe her. Here's why. I don't think that Kiki was coming there to even come to Tisha with that type of stuff. She was going to say hi because she started off with niceties. She started off being nice, saying, hey, Tisha. Like, the energy was not giving that. When she said that she was ready to have a conversation with Tiffany's ass, oh, I absolutely believed it. That's what she was gunning for because for some reason, Tiffany keeps her name in her mouth. I don't know what Tiffany has against Kiki, but baby, she keeps Kiki's name in her mouth. We have seen her do it multiple times on this season here, or part B, whatever this is, where she's talked to Mel about Kiki, she's talked to Stormy about Kiki. We've seen it time and time again. So, speaking of that, they talk about how there was a Carlos King interview, and I guess Tiffany said something along the lines that she was better than Kiki. And here's the thing, Tiffany, nobody is better than the other. You might want to chill out on that, please. So we actually see Kiki say that Tiffany has been talking crap about Stormy's hair products. And the only thing I kept thinking was, didn't Stormy ask Tiffany to like model for one of her hair campaigns? If I'm not mistaken, I could have swore maybe like last season she had Tiffany like model for the hair photo shoot or something. Maybe I'm tripping. Nonetheless, that's messed up if that's the case. So Kiki also mentions the fact that Tiffany has been talking crap about how she's trying to change school districts for her child. And here's the thing. When we see Stormy in her confessional, she said something along the lines of like, oh, Tiffany and Mel, they were talking about my products, blase blah. No, I don't know, maybe that was like a slip of the tongue. But I'm like, Kiki never mentioned anything about Mel talking crap about your products. So why'd you even mention Mel's name? Nonetheless, I wonder if Tiffany's ever going to admit to Stormy that she said it. Probably not. But let's go ahead and move on. Melody actually invites Tisha and Kimmy to go work out. Now, while they are waiting on Kimmy to get there, Tisha and Mel were just standing around. They didn't talk to each other really. And I get it. They don't really like each other. Fine. But there is something definitely off about Tisha. Her energy is completely off. So now that everybody's there because Kimmy shows up or whatever, and baby, the instructor is this older lady, right? And I was like, oh shoot, let me see what kind of workout she about to have these girls doing. Baby, she was working the girls out. Did y'all see that? Like, she had them at 3 different stations, but it was clearly a good workout. So after they work out or whatever, Kimmy talks about how she gets a shortness of breath, and the doctors even told her that this probably won't get any better. Now, one thing that I wanted to point out was that I love the fact that Melody, before they even got started with the workout, she told the instructor, like, hey, my friend has gone through some things, and, I just don't want her to be working out too hard. You know what I'm saying? The fact that she actually cares about things like that, that's important. Like, to me, that's a real friend. I know that everybody be like, Melody ain't nobody friend, blah, 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 blah. But it takes a real friend to actually care about something like that. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that your friend is good, even though you're just doing, a workout. But back to the story at hand. So, they want to talk about the barbecue, okay? Kimmy is the one who brought it up because she wants to know how Tisha is doing. Baby, Tisha went on and on about how Kiki has made threats to her in the past and how she doesn't want that type of lifestyle to be around her. And I mean, baby girl's pouring it on thick, right? So Tisha, she's like, yeah, I already know Kiki, she's on drugs. And Mel is like, how you know that? So Tisha's like, oh, I know. Because she's asking family members for money and everything. So Mel, she's like, okay, but did y'all like talk before the barbecue or whatever? And of course, Tisha's like, no, we didn't talk to each other. Now, I think that Mel is just trying to get to the bottom of how did all this mess stir up. And here's the thing. If we follow Tisha's story, right? According to Tisha, the story goes, I was sitting at the table. Kiki walked up. I ignored her. And then next thing you know, she got erratic and she threw a drink in my face. That's the vibe that she's giving. However, there's a lot of context that is not being talked about because it makes it sound like Kiki just completely flipped out of nowhere and then she just threw a drink at Tisha. And it's like, no. Tell us why you chose to ignore her. Like, let's start there because that's technically the starting point. Why did you ignore your cousin when she just spoke and said hello to you? Like, that's my thing. Everybody wants to start at, oh, Kiki was tripping. No. Let's start at why. Why was Tisha ignoring her own cousin? Let's make that make sense. So, here's the thing. Mel is still trying to get to the bottom of it. Tisha is like, all right, I'm about to get up and leave. And that's what she does. She actually gets up and she leaves. And I'm just like, okay, so now she's going to try to ignore the whole situation every time it's brought up, I'm pretty sure. Because we all know that if she brings up why she was ignoring Kiki, it would be, hey, I was ignoring her because she brought up the fact that there's a rumor that my husband is cheating. A hot mess if I ever seen. Here's the thing. I did want to include the fact that Mel did try to, let Tisha know that Kiki, she was remorseful for what happened, but she does let her know that she felt disrespected because of the way Letitia just completely ignored her and dipped out the way that she did. Now, I can't lie. I really wonder what Kimmy thinks of this whole thing right about now. And here's my question why. Because at the end of the day, Kimmy, she seems to be riding on Letitia's side, right? With all of this that's happening. But I wonder if she feels like, damn, Tisha, maybe you shouldn't have ignored her and things could have been cool. You know what I'm saying? But we shall see what happens. Hopefully all of this will be addressed at the reunion. Let's go ahead and move on. So we get to the Fletcher's house, okay? Nell is out there watering her plants and things start off okay, right? Because Martell comes over, he's looking for Chris, but Chris ain't there. So he ends up talking to Nell. So they talk about the barbecue and how Melody, she did not speak to Martell. And Nell is like, yeah, I told Mel that maybe she should be nicer. Blah, blah, blah. Y'all. So she decides to bring up the fact that Melody is going to have a name-changing party. And oh my God, here we go with Martell. He just acted a goddamn fool. Because he feels like, her changing her last name, that solidifies everything, that is fucking over. And I'm just like, yeah, she's not giving you another shot. We've already established this. Why are you so mad? So Nell, she's like, it's hard to be both of y'all friends sometimes, but I will be attending that party. Baby, why she say that? Because Martell, he's like, oh, well, that means that you're not really my friend because anybody who goes to that, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're betraying me. Foolishness. This was a whole lot of foolishness for me. Y'all, I have no idea how we got to the point where those two were going back and forth and back. And then, of course, you already know what Martell had to do. He had to bring up the fact that Melody cheated on him. And now, oh my gosh, she cheated on him with multiple men and all this stuff. Now, why didn't you question Melody about this and that? I'm just like, what the hell is happening right now? Martell, you have got to stop spiraling anytime Melody takes control of her own damn life. Like, that is crazy to me. That you sit up here and you fucking spiral every single time that this happens. I mean, you are really arguing with Nell. Full out arguing. If she questioned Melody on if she cheated on you. Like, do you hear how dumb that sounds? What the hell are we doing here? And I mean, it literally got to the point where this man got all the way to his car and he's still trying to argue. I'm like, this is absolutely nuts. At the end of the day, Nell is going to the name change party and you're going to have to get over it. It is what it is. But y'all, that was pretty much the episode. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.